Okay, Lehighton. The Lehighton Area School Board, through their administration, has provided a 2026-2027 budget. They just released it today, and now they want to approve it on Monday. Not much time to look at it, but we were prepared for this. Let me go through it real quick. Hold on to your wallets. The doom and gloomers are always there, yet we always end up having a reasonable, if not an excessive, surplus. And the question is why and how, and I can explain that to you very quickly. They go with doom and gloom. And the state and county numbers are a little more accurate, and what they publish to the state always ends up being a lot more accurate. Let's show you how this works. So the first thing we do is the school district tends to negotiate the contract before they even decide how much money that's coming in, what they can afford to spend, how many students they have, and all those different things. You negotiate a contract when you decide how many students you have and how many teachers you need. That would be more reasonable. If you did student first, student up budgeting, you would find out how many students you have, how many teachers you need, and then you'd go acquire them through the tax program and through your revenues and you'd spend your money. No big deal. Everybody wants to educate students. Nobody has a qualm about that. It's a free and public education. We have to provide it. It's not that big a deal. It should be provided. It should be the best education. Let's take a look at how we evaluate this from a citizen's level rather than allowing the administration and the people that work at the district to write their own budget or write the budget that the blind trusting rubber stampers will go through and try to do. I know it's quick. I'll hit it. Let me know what you think. And then hopefully you show up Monday and say, yeah, we should postpone this for a couple days so everybody can really dig through it. But here you go. The current process across the state looks like this. Very common. All right. Hold on to your wallets. We're going to go with state numbers because we know that they are the most accurate. However, the state gets the numbers from the district, but not the salesmanship side numbers that they show in a board meeting or to the board. These are the ones that are verified. These are the ones that they have to give to the state. So we'll take a look at it. Give me a second. There's our budget overview. We wanted to do this about 2 weeks ago, but they blocked me from presenting this to the board as a director, giving the citizens' view of what a budget looks like and how it really works. But let's just hit this on the quick run here. There's a bunch of leadership. You have a bunch of key performance indicators you can look at. These are just ways that you'd measure and manage what's happening within a district. I think we can help you with that in a second. For instance, let's talk about safety of students. If you go to Lehighton with our police force, you have a much higher chance of being arrested and having some sort of interaction with the police rather than a school resource officer or a security guard that's there hired to protect the students. Their oath is to protect the students, not enforce the law like a policeman is. And that's important because kids make mistakes and they should be corrected. And if you look at detentions, things that provide a student an opportunity to reevaluate what they have done. Granted, there's some very heinous things because some of these students were unattended. We agree. These students need to be supervised. They need to have staff there. They need to have people. That's where the money should be spent, protecting the students by having them with some oversight. But here you go. So that's just the record straight from the county. This is the opportunity, as we call it. This is our current grading system from the PSSAs, and this is where we're lacking that highest level of performance. If you focus on student safety and student performance, it's great that, as they say in the meetings, we have growth better than anyone else. But the question is, where'd you start from? And how are we going to get to where we really need to be? It's fantastic to hear that you traveled on the highway quickly at the speed limit, got to the end where you were heading, had a couple traffic jams, but now you're going faster again. It's great for growth. I understand growth. It's nice. We want actual results. Okay, here's the highlights. I'll show you where all this comes from in a second. Student enrollment has dropped about 13%. People aren't having as many kids. We don't need as big of schools. There's kids going to charter schools. It's great. The parents get to choose where these kids want to go, and they can pick the best education for their students. As more people pick those, the brick and mortar school in Lehighton becomes more efficient. We don't need as much staff. We still have the same overhead. Same building needs to have its mortgage paid, same electricity bill. But if you reduce the amount of students in the classrooms, you do a better job. And if there's less kids to be in those classrooms because they're out doing other things like CCTI or dual enrollment or charter schools, that's great too for the students that want to do that. So it's good to have small classrooms. Somewhere in that 15 to 20 range, I think everybody understands is the optimum level of interaction with students and also some personal time to help them out. Our teaching staff has increased about 7% in the last couple of years. That gives us a student to staff ratio of about 7 to 1. 7 to 1. Fantastic if we are getting the results. But let's go to the next one. So basically, if we consolidate some of the classrooms, encourage the families that would like to choose an educational option that's best for their student, they get to make that choice. That's the power in the parents. If you can reduce the taxes, this is key. It was done a little while ago. They reduced them a little bit. We gained more money by reducing the taxes. It's like a Laffer curve. If you reduce the taxes, people don't mind staying, especially the people that are struggling to pay those taxes. They don't have kids in the school. They stay. They pay their taxes. We end up getting more money. That's the key. Keep taxes low. Keep the grandparents in the community. Let them go to the kids' sporting events. Let them go to the different plays and activities. Let them be there for when those kids come home because both parents are working trying to pay the taxes. Be a little more realistic. Be a little more objectively truthful that we had a revenue increase over the last couple of years because the assessments are up. I'll show it to you in a little bit. Okay? Enrollment's down, staffing's up. Our administration staffing is extensive when you compare it to other districts within the state. And then let's make sure we teach our students in an efficient manner. There's my quick review. Where does that come from? Here is an aggregate of all of the AFRs from 2016. I pulled the numbers from. This is 913 pages of our annual financial reports. Here's the one for just last year, 24-25. And then the new one, 25-26, would have been reported. Here's what we're looking to do now. And when we look at this, we want to look at a couple things. I went to the county and got the full Lehighton County assessment of just the Lehighton School District. Straight from the county. Not the numbers that the school district provides. This is what the county says we have. So here's the land assessment, building assessment. I made a column called total. I'll bring it down. According to the county, total assessable property values, 462. Remember that number. 462 million. Now, some of those are non-taxables. We get it. There's going to be a percentage, small percentage of people that don't pay taxes. There are other schools, there are hospitals, things like that that may or may not be tax exempt. Some veterans are tax exempt, things like that. But here we go. Let's take a look at the budget and where they're heading. This was printed June 18th, which is today, and was printed about 10, 11 hours ago. I wanted to go through it, wanted to make sure we're right, got all the data, checked it out. Here's the highlights. With not making this video too long, let's see if we can put it together. So as I did was I highlighted a couple things that you want to take a peek at. Number one, we have about $9 million in the bank at the end of the year. $9 million. That's plenty. It's above the 8% that you're looking for. that says you can't raise taxes. They have to pigeonhole this away somewhere else. They're going to have to do something to shuffle this money around. Here's an assigned fund balance that hides the money over at one side. If they assign it to a project, they don't count it. These are all the standard shenanigans governments do. You know, it's the old end of the year use or lose concept, right? So let's go down the path. Student first budgeting. How many students do we have? What do we need to do to educate them? Free and public education. These are the things that matter, and how a community member would review how they would do a budget. Who do we have to teach? How many teachers do we need to teach them? What classes do they need to take? What special needs do they have? What is their individual education program? How are we going to satisfy that to make sure we're meeting the law? We've never provided an unlawful amount of education to people. And if we did, we get sued. And then we lose and have to pay. We should focus on the students, focus on getting what they are, so that the taxpayers don't have to pay in the event that a administration and or government school district makes a mistake. Okay, $9 million left over. That's a pretty extensive amount of money. That means they took that money, didn't use it, pigeonholed it, set it aside. Yes, you have to have some cash flow, I get it. Total estimated revenues is going to be $51 million. They're going to assume that they're going to collect those taxes between state and federal. And we're looking at it for the total assessed value in 2025, 2026 was $399 million. And currently they're looking at 403. Back to the county, 462. I don't know, but 15%, 10 or 15% tax-free in the community, pretty high. There is also, if we look at this one more time, about 9,674, because there's one for the header row, 74 taxpayers. Remember that number, 9,675 assessed value taxpayers within the school district. Some are zeros, some are larger, some are smaller, right? So this number here, what they're going to think they're going to get, usually is on the low side, conservative. So if they go conservative with the income and extra on the expenses, oh my God, we're going to run out of money, fear and doubt. Instead, we get the reality. This is what's coming in. This is what you got last time. This is what's basically going to happen. And if we don't push out our seniors, we're doing okay. They are figuring on a percentage of people not paying this bill. They're counting on it. I want 100% compliance because that's the best way to run a district. You don't want to force out some of your employees, even if it's only 3%. In this budget, they're looking at 3.3%. If you do a quick math on 3.3% of 97, I don't mean to get too math here, 96.74 times 3%, you're talking about 290 people, 290 families, homes, assessors. Why would you plan on it? We want to have the people be able to afford it here. Don't raise the taxes. We can lower them a little bit. We got plenty. The doom and gloomers need to go away. This is Lehighton. We're one of the best districts in the entire county. But anyway, let's go move this down here. A little optimism would be nice. Next highlight, right? Percent of rate change. They're talking about raising the taxes 3.5%. Why? You're not even going to get that much value out of 3.5%. It's a couple $100,000. We'll show you that in a minute. Here's their expenses that they're looking at. $51 million. They're going to spend it all, right? They're going to take it and they're going to find a place to pigeonhole it. Just how it works. We could go through this line by line like I did with all the other ones. I'm going to show it to you in a second on a much better format. I'll just do it now. Keep the video short. Sorry. Here's your unassigned fund balance at the end. $10 million. $10 million. That's taken from these 9,000 people. Why? Anyway, lean and mean. So everywhere that this shows this grid, these are the school years. All Lehighton, straight from the state. This is every account code. All pulled from AFRs by the state. Regurgitated, mathematically checked. Average, minimum, maximum, median. And then everywhere it's red, we can do improvements from where we've proven we could be before. And everywhere it's green, we're doing a little better, which is nice. Here, this one's down 12, 15%, 8%. This is down 100%. We didn't have anything in there. This is one of those pigeonholes you can stick money in, and then, what do you know? We didn't need it. Well, we didn't have to use it somewhere else. These are up percentages. Here's one up 77%. That's significant. Give you an idea, all the red is area where we can make improvements and have proven we could before. So with that being said, I'd like everybody to show up. We want to look at the core services that we have, all the extracurriculars, all the supplementals, all the things that we're doing. Then you get the non-core, transportation, other very important things at the bottom of the base of this pyramid that holds this community together. Then you got some extras. Those are negotiable and we can figure out. Then you got some extra wants and needs would be the term. So at the bottom of this, down here, we get all the needs. And then up here, we got some wants. Hey, we'd like to do this. We'd like to get new that. We'd like to do this. Sounds great. The money's there. You got $10 million. All right. Thank you very much. Hope this was educational. See you Monday. And the budget's only 27 pages, but there's a lot in there. And what's really weird, you got to admit, this is how they keep board of directors mushrooms. They don't give them the information. This entire budget that's online shows the estimate and a projection. They're all empty. They're all empty. Estimate, projection. It's an empty budget. Estimate, projection. Who would approve such a thing? Postpone this thing, give them a week. If you can go to your board of directors, I'll go around the circle. Denise Hartley, Tim Tack, Heather Neff, Alex Matika, Lori Fry, Bill Howland, Jeremy Galash, Joy Beers, or even myself, Dave Bradley. Raise your hand. Ask a question. Get the answers. None of this empty stuff. Let's get the information. Let's take a look at it. Let's look at the community to see it and get rid of the doom and gloom. Thank you. Hopefully, you'll help me. I definitely could use it. See ya.